Okay, so today we had a challenge problem, and it was WZ has endpoints W, -3, -8, and Z, 5, 12. Point X lies between W and Z such that WX equals 1/4 WZ. Find the coordinates of X. Okay, so first I'm going to start by plotting my figure. I have W is -3 over -8 down. This is W. And then Z is 5 over 12 up. Okay, my graph doesn't go up to 12, but we'll just say it's right there. So WZ is this line right here. Okay, excellent. Point X lies between W and Z such that WX is equal to 1/4 of WZ. So WX is equal to 1/4 of WZ. So if I cut WZ in half, and then I cut each of those halves in half, I'll get 1/4, right? This is split into 4 parts now. So I know that X is going to be right here, okay? That's where X should be. All right, so I'm looking for the coordinate of X, and I don't know what it is. So let's begin by finding the distance from W to Z. So let's do our distance formula. We have W is -3, -8, and then Z is 5, 12. Okay, so let's assign our X1, X2, and then we'll do the distance formula. X2 minus X1 squared plus Y2 minus Y1 squared. Distance equals, okay, so X2 is 5, X1 is -3 squared plus Y2 is 12 minus Y1, which is -8 squared. Distance equals the square root of 5 minus -3 is 8. 8 squared is 64. 12 minus -8 gives me 20. Squared gives me 400. So distance equals the square root of 464. Distance equals rad 16 times rad 29. Distance equals 4 times rad 29. Okay? So the distance of this whole thing, WZ, equals 4 rad 29. Right? Excellent. All right, so now I know the distance from W to Z. So if I cut that in half, I would get 2 rad 29. And if I cut that in fourths, I would get radical 29 for each one of these quarter segments, right? I would get rad 29, rad 29, rad 29, rad 29. Add those all together, I get 4 rad 29, which is the length of WZ. And I know that WX is just rad 29. So I did my math correctly there. And now I know the distance from W to X. But wait, I don't need the distance from W to X. I need the coordinate of W to X. But I have no idea how to find that. If only there was a way to calculate the coordinate that is halfway between a line, not just the distance of a line, or half the distance between a line, or a quarter of the distance between a line. We need this coordinate right here. Well, let me tell you some excellent news. There is a formula. There is a formula called the midpoint formula. And the midpoint formula calculates the point that is exactly halfway between 2 points. So while the midpoint cannot calculate what is 1/4, which is the length of, which is the point WX, it can calculate this portion, and then we can just divide it in 2 again to get this portion of the line, right? So we can find this coordinate right here, and then we're going to divide that by 2, or put that into the midpoint formula, and then find the midpoint of this line right here, which is going to be X. Okay, so the midpoint formula, this is new, so pay attention. Is X1 plus X2 over 2 y1 plus y2 over 2. And this will give you the x coordinate, and this will give you the y coordinate for a point that is halfway, but in the middle of a line segment, okay? So I'm going to plug the two endpoints, w and z, into the midpoint formula in order to find this coordinate, okay? So I have w, which is -3, -8, and then I have z, which is 5, 12. Okay, so this will be my x1, this will be y1, this will be x2, this will be y2. Okay, I'm going to plug them into this equation. I have x1 is -3 plus x2, which is 5 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. So I have y1, which is -8, plus y2, which is 12 over 2. And I get -3 plus 5, that's the same as 5 minus 3, I get 2 over 2. And then I get -8 plus 12, same as 12 minus 8, and I get 4 over 2. This reduces to 1, 2. Okay, so I know that this point right here is 1, 2. This point right here, the midpoint of WZ is 1, 2. Okay, so now I need to find the midpoint of this line to get X. So I'm going to plug my two coordinate values in for that. So I have 1, 2, which is the midpoint of WZ. Let's just call that M for midpoint, okay? And then I have W, which is -3, 8, and that's W. So this will be my X1, this will be my Y1, this will be my X2, and this will be my Y2, all right? So I have x1 is 1, x2 is -3 divided by 2, y1 is 2, y2 is 8 divided by 2. Wait, no, that's not right. y1 is 2. y2 is -8. Oh, see, don't you love when I make mistakes? Because then you can see exactly what you might have done if the same thing happened. All right, so I'm going to start over. x1 is 1 plus x2, which is -3 over 2. And then y1 plus y2 is going to be 2 plus -8 over 2. Okay, 2 plus -8 gives me -6 over 2. 1 plus -3 gives me -2 over 2. This reduces to 1, -3. So now we know that x, coordinate x, equals 1, equals -1, -3. See, because it was a negative divided by a positive, so it's -1, -3. And we have our answer.